So I placed an order recently with a company called Mirliton Fantasy for quite a large number of NPCs so that I could populate my city scenes. So I'm just going to do a quick review. The first thing I'd say was the communication, and this may have been that I mistyped my email address on my order, but I didn't get an order confirmation, and when I emailed them about it, they confirmed my order very briefly in sort of semi-broken English. They are an Italian firm, and said they'd send me tracking information, which I didn't receive. So that might have been my fault. I may have mistyped my email address when I placed the order, but the arrival of the pieces was quite a surprise to me. When they arrived, they mostly came without bases. So I've got here still merchant dude, and so I've had to sculpt my own, which wasn't too bad. But I imagine some people are going to have difficulty with that. Now, the ones that came without bases, they are slotter bases, so any standard slotter base would work. But when I looked online for the cost of bases, and you tend to buy sculpted ones these days, and they're like $1 each, and I'd, as you can see, quite a large order. So I decided I'd just sculpt my own, which brought the cost down to reasonable levels. But yeah, that was a surprise. When I looked at the website, most or some of them did say bases not included. Some of them did, but because the descriptions were so terse, I didn't read past the first couple. And some do have integrated bases. There's this druid guy here, but it's so small, I was worried it would just fall over. So I didn't, I just stuck him onto another one. Now these are all pewter models. The birds, incidentally, they did come with flight bases. But that's in a kind of a druid set that did. The pond dragon here, that did not. Well, it's kind of got that integrated base, but it's so narrow that the model isn't very stable. This one, which I actually haven't painted up his little stand there, but sort of dragon turtle thing. Well, it doesn't really need one. So lots of little people, lots of little details. So, and I thought this would be fantastic for populating my town. So I've got sort of various workmen there. Oh, and there's a fantastic beholder model. And now this one surprised me. Now I think this is Grenadier. So I think they're using some of the old Grenadier moulds. The detail on this is fantastic. I loved all the little globules and strands coming up the back. Loads of detail. It's a great model. And I think that's also Grenadier, as is the pond dragon, and I think these eagles, which I've painted up as golden eagles. A little druid here has an owl resting on his hand. There's a little kid here eating a carrot with his foot up on a rock. I've got an old sort of beggar woman here. I've got the light on her, there we go. Still don't. There we are, so she's sort of like a beggar. Got a guy carrying a youngster carrying some water pails. Various kitchen people. There's a woman here plucking a pheasant. She's sat on a stool. So a little stall in the background. That was quite hard for fiddly to put together, the stall. And the birds as well. It was quite. I used super glue and they did stick, but it took me a few attempts. And then we've got various kitchen people. So a little guy there with a kitchen knife. She's holding a carrot and a knife. That one's sort of holding a mixing bowl. Another one there holding a bowl. I got just have to call this one Mario really with the way I painted him, but sort of a little chef there. various other sort of kitchen people, and I got a baker, which is handy because I got the Mirliton bakery set. So he's got his, do they call that hod? I'm not sure. Anyway, taking some bread out of the bakery. There we go. A number of youngsters and stuff, and I got this sort of matronly type woman trying to get them to behave and sit down for dinner, and the Queen's taken the carpet away because the kids make such a mess of it, so where the kids sit on the stools. Mind you, there's not enough stalls for them, but I don't have that many. This is their dancing girl set, which is pretty cool. A little youngster there trying to misbehave. And then there's the band. Now, I got an extra pair of legs, and my trumpeter here has no arm. So, I don't know why I did him in an Asian skin tone and red hair, but obviously he wasn't paying attention when I decided that. Oh well. And then there's a bagpipe player, a violinist. So every time a player dies, you can do the death march. Mozart. Is it Mozart's death march? I think it is. There's a trumpeter on another stool. Again, quite fiddly to put the stool together, but did it. And then I think she comes with the dancing girls, actually. It's just a tambourine player. And one of the kids has a little drum there as well. And then they do this sort of chubby hunchback noble type guy, which I painted up. I do my orcs red, so I thought I'd have him as a half orc. And then they've got a quack. So I've got him nice and bloody and mucky. Sort of a royal trumpeter, French one, is that French? No, French one is the curved one, isn't it? I don't know what that one's called. And then various courtesans. There we go. Oh, stand up. He's obviously drunk. These are quite cool, and a lot of the women have wimples on. So that, that's kind of historically accurate for what, I guess, about 14th century-ish, something like that. I'm not really up on that particular period of history. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this stuff. I was just quite surprised that they didn't have bases. That was a shock. As you can see, it was my first ever go at sculpting bases, so didn't do brilliantly. But this was just an ordinary. Oh no, that was a proper Queen model. The King was just an ordinary noble that I decided to paint it with a king's robe, and I thought that worked quite well. So that looks pretty cool. That's Mirliton Fantasy, they're called. I think the townspeople are their own sculpts. Not 100% sure on that. As I say, the monsters I'm fairly sure are old Grenadier moulds. But it's nice stuff. It's reasonably priced. Came from Italy. Took, trying to remember now, I think it was a week or two to arrive. Which is reasonable. I'm in Britain, they're in Italy, so I don't think they sent it out that quickly, but it wasn't so late that I was jumping up and down on the email with them. Certainly if the communication had been a bit better, then that wouldn't have worried me quite so much. I did get a little worried because, as I say, a couple of weeks when you don't get an order confirmation, but as I say, that could have been my own fault. So I'm pretty happy with it, and I think when I finish making my town, which currently have a road network, which is that stack there is my roads that I've sculpted myself, and I'm going to do the buildings soon. Lots of NPCs. Just got to varnish these up, and they'll be ready for my game at the weekend. Pretty cool stuff.